City Meals Office that is authorizing kosher breakfast boxes for senior citizens in Brooklyn and Midwood.
Yeah.
They're not too familiar with the kosher laws, so they accidentally put in non-kosher frozen meals. But then the other day, they also put in some big bacon and warm bacon and eggs in there too. So I thought to myself, I should advise this to some of my clients that we can cancel them, and I just needed their authorization. And when they fix all the kosher requirements, they can follow up with us after February.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bacon, eggs,
yeah.
well,
Because it was supposed to be all kosher, but they're not familiar with some of the kosher
No.
laws.
well, no, that ability, half pulse, the whole time.
This breakfast box program is a new program, and they just started with the kosher breakfast boxes. Thank you, Rabbi.
Grab a small person.
Okay.
Thank you, Ron.
Oh, thank you so much for the plates. Thank you, Eliezer Shimon.
You want a donut?
Yes, thank you so much.
Heavily sugared or least heavily sugared?
Either one is fine. Thank you.
I'll go in the middle.
Okay, thank you.
Grab the. It's like
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, Maine. Oh, Maine.
Or y'all had some ideas.
Is anyone on?
Yeah. Yokin.
Yeah.
Yokin.
Okay.
one of the Maccabees.
For sure.
Ik wil Gilman now. Instruction.
Now, Rabbi Milstein said that's a mistake with the nittul. Nittul, because the goyim go the night after the day. We go the day after the night. So when they start their Avodah Zarah is on Chatzos. So he said that's when nittul should start. Chatzos. You should be able to learn till Chatzos, and Chatzos, after Chatzos, you shouldn't learn. That's what Rabbi Milstein said.
Okay.
But the Rabbanim, my father also, I think he kept January 7th, but that's what he said.
Love to not keep you.
Right. No, we keep.
The Hale should some keep all things.
Yeah.
Should keep the later one.
Some keep all.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, you have a Mishnah Berurah, some Tov Reish Ayin Zayin. Let's start the simon. Just read it again. Just the words. Atsanoi, person who is a guest. Shem adlikan lalav. If they're not lighting in his house, he has to give a pruta to the balabais to mishtatev with the oil of Ner Chanukah. So he's a guest. He's staying in someone else's house. So if madlikin lalav or he's mishtatev with the shemen in Ner Chanukah is good enough. If he has a door for himself, he has to light in his door. Even though this house is only where he's sleeping, still he has to do it also on the door, the shane of the place where he sleeps. Why? Because of chshad. Because of the chshad. It's mashma to me a little bit in the Lashon Shulchan Aruch. If he has a house and they're lighting in his house, if he was in another place and in that place there was a room where he slept and he ate, then it wouldn't only be mitzad. Then it would be be'etzem adin that he would be chayiv to light the ner Chanukah. Similar to what we were speaking a whole year about Shabbos candles, that if a person has a cheder miyuchad liyatzmai, that it's not going to help that he pays a special plan and that they light for him Shabbos candle at the Chagall windows, and that he's in the Oman, his wife is lighting in New York. Doesn't help. Same thing here. It's only mishum chshada because Bemes Makam Achila is the main place of the feast of a person. Makam Achila. And there is Oichel Shulchan Balabayis, really he's like the Bnei Bayis. Elamaybe has a Makam Shina La'atzmai, so he has to light also in the Makam Shina, Mishum Shad, but there's a shayla if you can make a bracha or not on that. So then there's no chshad in the Makam Achshina. So therefore, Yadl b'Makam Sheichel, Taki should light in the Makam Sheichel, that's the minute. The Bias, the Kvius is, where does a person live? B'Makam Achila, not b'Makam Ashina. Zibbeis.
That's why many people put it like
Zibbeis. Yeah, 1 second.
There. Yes, the next one, sure. Yeah, good. That's a take.
Zibbeis. Cotton shegiel chinuch tzarich laad like a child, which is the gil chinuch. He has to light. He has to light. I'm not going to talk about this too much, because we spoke about it very last year. Like you just read quick to the Mishnah Berurah. The Fimash Botzak Machabes Simta Fashan Olav Zebeis. Kulam Had Mehad Madlikin Rak Neirech L'Chol Anshe. The Bayis Rak Shemisif V'Helchem B'Chol Yom Neir Echad Yoiser. According to the Sfardim, they light one menorah. The Balabas lights the first night 1, and then 2, and then 3. So what do you mean a cotton? Obviously, it's talking about a cotton that has his own house. But the Dan, the Naginish Kolach Tzorach Lahad and Lavahad Lefnatman King. Now a cotton Tzorach Lahad, Kol Gavne Lahad Lefnatman. Loch Pasuk Ramah Leo, Besef Samta Freshainei. That Shilta Gavana Vamiri, I feel the Dan and Tzorach Lachanach cotton Lahad Lefnatman. That Shilta Gavana Vamiri says that no, we don't have to Machanach a cotton Lahadlik. I spoke about it Barichas last year. Ani's diet, it's a mistake the Mishnah Berurah is making. That there's no such thing that I don't want to go into it.
Okay. You say what the mistake is.
That that really the Shilting Barim meeting never says such a thing. Taki after Machanach a kind for Hidden Mitzvah.
Okay. Except, like you said, if he has his own house.
Versteht, so he has his own house. But even if he doesn't have his own house and he's in your house, you have to Machanach him Hidden Mitzvah to light a menorah.
He should light also. The cotton should light also.
Yeah, because the Shilta Gebot and the Me'idi were talking about in the olden days when they did the original mitzvah, then not everyone lit. The Balabos lit for everyone in the house. And he said you have to light as many candles as you have Bnei Bayis, but on the Barabas mitzvah, not considered for your Bnei Bayis.
Even if it's your own son.
Yeah, you only have to. So if you have 5 kids over bar mitzvah, 5 under, so you say your wife, and the 5 kids, you light 7 candles.
5 kids under bar mitzvah.
5 under, 5 over.
I'm saying.
So you ignore the 5 under, as if they don't exist. And the 5 over, you light for them.
That's true. That's true.
That's what the Meidi holds. That's what the Shilta Gebonim hold. We anyway don't do it that way. Our minig is minig svarad. The original minig was that everyone that no one lights their own menorah. The balabas lights.
Right.
Shaila is how much the balabas lights. If he lights ner l'chol echad ve'echad, or he lights l'chol echad ve'echad Balayl Rishon 1 and Balayl Sheni, but only the Balabas lights. And on that, the Meidi and the Shilta Geborim said that if the Balabas said in the original minhag, even according to the way we're doing, that if there is 7 people in the house, you have 7 menorahs. 7 menorahs. But who is lighting the 7 menorahs? The Balabas is lighting the 7 menorahs. That was the original minhag. The Balabas was lighting the 7 menorahs.
Okay.
The minhag Sfarad was that the Bnei Bayis light the menorahs. It's a huge difference. So in that original minhag, so the Shilta Geborim Meidi say that when the father lights for the Bnei Bayis, I say he has a father, mother, and 10 children, so you don't think you should light 12 menorahs. If 5 are under Baramas Mitzvah, you should only light 7 menorahs. But now that everyone's doing B'fnei Atzmam, it's a different cheshbon. So why shouldn't you be machanach a child to do the mitzvah?
Even the ones west under bar mitzvah.
Even under bar mitzvah.
And years ago, the ones over bar mitzvah went by themselves.
No one lit themselves. No one lit themselves.
Even the ones over bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Only the Balabai is lit.
With 7 hours for the
How many?
How many children he had?
Yeah, that's how many menorahs.
His wife, I guess, was included in his menorah.
I don't know.
Right?
No, whose life was included in his? No? I don't know.
So some of the kids that the Rebbe gave an example could have been girls also.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Girls and boys are equal in this.
Yeah. Right. Like we said. Yeah.
Okay, next. Yesh Omrim. Yesh Omrim. Shafa b'shamad looking love teich beisoi. There is an opinion that says even though they're madlik for the person in his house, if he's in a city, there's no yidden there. Madlik with brachas, it's the light with brachas. He has to see the lights. He's chayiv to see the lights. That's the minhag. So the Mishnah Berurah says, look in the bottom, Yudalit, is chayiv zeh soisel l'simen tofrei shayim vav, says gimel, tzoi v'shem k'shemadlikim v'beisei, ein tzarech levorech al hariyah. And simen tofrei shayim vav, he said that if they're already lighting for you in a house, you don't have to make a bracha on the riyah. Within the kanon min hamort, v'shem sosam achabek, yishore poskim, shekelchim l'lov. L'chein l'dina ein l'ina kein l'halag v'bracha. Therefore, the dinner he shouldn't do this way. It's chastira in the Shulchan Aruch. In the previous simon, and this simon is a stira. It's a stira, one to the other. Let's go back to look. That's why I made a copy. Last year we did from the beginning, from Simon Tov Reish Ayin till Teshuvah Reish Ayin Vav. And this year I made new booklets, but I went back from Tov Reish Ayin Vav just that we can look back on that thing. Sim Gimel, in the first page. He didn't light and he will not light. When no one's lighting for him in his house. So gesund. Sagt that what does it mean? That means if they were madlikin and betech beisai, if they would be madlik from betech beisai, then he did his whole mitzvah. There's nothing left to do. If you're madlik betech beisai, everything is good. Let's look in the Mishnah Berurah right there. Siv Gimel. Vein also hadlik by Salalavim. Yadlik achkach lo yivarachari. Kimin yuchel yivarach achkach ladlok. V'gam ein madlik v'yish. V'yish v'yin saber. Afilo yedei shemetel nebe beisai. Kimin the bats mein madlik. V'gam ein mishtat v'machirim beprit. Tzarech yivarachari lohoi. He has to make a brach on the riyah. Why? Lohoi de salanes. To make the brach. Sh'osa nisan lavasenim. V'mazman azeh. V'gam yivarach shechiyonu. Chomokim in kedai las kein lamais. Lamais is not kedai to do this. The Safek Berach is lahakel, because it's for the Safek Berach is lahakel. Look in the bottom of the Sharatzin.
In this case, it means lahakel not to make the bracha.
Yeah, not to make the bracha.
It's interesting that he doesn't make the first bracha. How to go and there's a fine.
He says, yeah, because they're lighting for him in his house, and some opinions hold that once they're lighting in his house, he gets it, he's
He
done.
himself is not lighting. He meaning the Baal Bayis?
No, the person, he's a oirech.
He's an
He's a oirich by someone, and his wife is lighting in the house. So she did everything. There's nothing left for him.
Okay.
Look in the bottom Sharatzin, Sivkotten Tes, Mordechai. I'm a beer a grosh, cost with the Chemuch Gam Kemirash. Because I'm here, I'm a Yav, Shoyd Gam Rishem Zavach. Veloike das atas, cost with the das Mordechai with Yechido. No, the Gro holds in the bottom, Sharatzin, Siv Gimel. Veloike das atas, cost das Mordechai Yechido, Valken Paska Bach, Plichot Shvel Yerab, Ken La Locha. But still, the Mishnah Berurah is mefaktik. So let's turn back to where we're holding. And Simen Reish Ayin Zayin, the last 3 lines. Again, he says this. So over here he says in the Pnim again. Yeshem and Av B'Shemad L'Kulav B'Ter Basis of Gimel Reish Ayin Zayin of Gimel. Yeshem and Av B'Shemad L'Kulav B'Ter Basis. Even though his wife is lighting for him in the house, he's in a place there's no Jews. He has to be Maduk B'Brachas. Shrive Liras and Neiris. And that's the minik. Mishnah Berurah has a problem with this. He says, so he said, listen, the Within the canon and Amor, Bishom Sasam Machabik, short boys come. Elam Kain, Shayem, Shane, Rotz, lots of Badlokas issue. Unless he makes it tonight, he says, Befedish, I'm not Yotze with my wife, Mashkos of Ramo, as the Ramo is going to write later. Okay. So let's look at the Sharatzian in the bottom. He writes in Siv Gimel, this is the Pri Chodesh Vagrom Amar Mordechai Miyashu B'Doich. The Mama Mordechai has a teretz adoich. Das Machabesh the Shiny also Shuba Makom Yisrael Roye Shuba Makom Yisrael. In the previous time I was talking, he's in a Jewish city. He's in a different city, but in a Jewish city. His wife is lighting for him. He's an Ummah. Okay, there's another 200,000 Yid. Roye and Neidis. Give me Shapotem Ikera Mitzvah. They should be talking about basic. Ben Sarach Ladlik. Vem Roye and Neidis Chavere. Look, you could have a man Labarach Halari, give me Shapotem Ikera Mitzvah, then I'd look. But Hocha, Shubamokim Shain Shem Yisrael. Ben Roye and Neidis. Vava Bisham and Likan Labatach Base. I'm a Kokam. Chayvu Liris and Neidis. Makas Sarach Ladlik, Giris and Neidis. I'd look him a brochik, give me Shahuch, when it's Tav Ladlik. But Neshalai Borul Lamachab Besvarazul, the Fikar Kosa B'Shem, Yesh, Emrim. It's not so bored to Machav this Svara. It's a Yeshemer. Well, I didn't have a Ain't Lina Kain, Mishkasafti B'Nim.
So who's saying this? I mean,
The Mishnah Berurah says, until now he's quoting from the Maimon Mordechai, and he says, Ladina, he says, I don't like the teretz. I don't like the teretz. I don't know why he doesn't like the teretz. But weißt doch a Klal Godel from the Chassam Sofer. The Rov durch him emes. That sometimes the spitzige dicke tirutzim that sound so fancy are not the true tirutzim. Dafke the durch tirutzim are good tirutzim. Wasn't it good? I think he gave a good teretz.
Depends if it's in a.
He said like this.
In a city, they're like, no.
You're right. If they're lighting for me in my house, I still have to see Neres Chanukah.
I see, Jewish.
If I see, I don't make a bracha. But if I'm a kosher, I have to see. So now I'm mitzvah to light in order to see, to make a bracha. I don't understand why he doesn't like the teretz. It took me a long time to figure out. It took me a little bit to figure out why the Mishnah Berurah doesn't like the teretz. I have to why the Mishnah Berurah doesn't like the teretz.
Why?
Mishnah Berurah says over there that the reason why you have to see the candles is in order lohoides alanes. In order to make the bracha al asha'os nisam lamaseinu bayom mahem bezman hazeh. Emes that the Bach says this way, and it's befeidish orchos chaim arishin. But I think the Beis Yosef didn't hold that way. So I guess let me just step back and drop and explain. The Gemara says, "Roya nechaneke b'yom rishon mevorach shtayim, or b'yom sheni mevorach achas." So what's the pshat haroya nechaneke? What's the pshat haroya nechaneke? It's a funny Gemara. Haroya nechaneke. What does it mean haroya nechaneke? I'm going with the kids and I'm driving to Crown Heights. The vibe of the kids have a game. Every house they see how many menorahs. So if they have a game and like one kid already saw 114 menorahs. He should make 114 times the bracha.
This is only if you didn't make the bracha, I would assume.
So here's the shaila that is showing him. What's the Gemara mean when the Gemara says Haroya Ner Chanukah? Is the pshat Haroya Ner Chanukah means that a person is living in Central Park under a bench in a cardboard box?
Right.
So that's a pshat Haroya Ner Chanukah. Or we're talking about other people too. So the emes is the takazoi. If you look at the Rebbein Yerucham taka, the Bach is taka right, and the Rebbein Yerucham says, "Yesh magdolim shekotzu she'im idlika lo bebeisai, ein tzarich levorach k'sherei ner chaved, v'yesh mem shekotzu she'afil idlika lo bebeisai, she'tzarich levorach k'sheroi." Lefise asvorach achsanoi shenishtate beprutet tzarich lotzes v'liris kedei she'yivorach. Achsanoi, that was Mishtat Prita, if he was standing there and he listened to the bracha, Shemei Koina. But if he wasn't standing there, he just gave money to the balabas.
You have to see.
So then he has to go, he has to see a menorah. Tzarich lotzes v'liris kedei she'yivarech. So it's clear the Orchos Chaim holds that the reason of looking for a menorah is in order to make the bracha she'osa nisam laveseinu. I'm looking at menorah in order to make the bracha she'osa nisam laveseinu. And the Bach says that this is against the Smag. The Smag said that Chsanoi is ein enosi shetadlik ishalo bebeisi dilo enosui av b'shelach v'derech ein tzorech levarach hariyim given she'ishtem like the salah.
This if he's married.
If he's married, so
and his wife
is lighting.
Right.
So
he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to make. Yeah, ain't tzorich levorech al hariyah. Doesn't have to make a broch on the riyah. So the Bach asks in him, Tema, the Masha Madlik al Bebeisa, ain't a boy la lifter oisem yichiu v'amutal amamoiner lahadlik neidus lafarsa manes berabim aval aidua ala nes hu bechiu val gufoy umizeh loy nifter kishem adlikin alav im loy shamet shemesh azabrach v'amarame. And he says that that's the Mordechai holds away, and Ashi holds away, and the Smak, and the Aguda, and the Rosh, and the Rif, and the Rambam hold this way. Everyone holds this way. Against the Smak.
In other words, it doesn't help you that your wife fight for you.
Yeah, I would say that in Lulav Mistapina, not the Lulav Mistapina, I think that the Beis Yosef argues in the Bach. He holds that everyone holds like the Smak. Smak never said if my wife lights, I don't have to go be Roy in their Chanukah. Sure, I'm a chuyiv to go on Chanukah to look at the natives. If my wife is in the other city lighting, I have to go out and look at those natives. He didn't say Ein tzorich liros. He said Ein tzorich levorech al hariyah. Chayiv liros. For sure chayiv liros. For sure chayiv liros. Ein chayiv levorech al hariyah. Why? Because the Smag holds that the chiyuv re'iyah of Neiris Chanukah is not in order to make the bracha she'osa nisam lameseinu. The chiyuv leaders is chachomam gezok. Listen, baby. Either you light the menorah yourself, or
Look at it.
and not in order to make the bracha she'osa nisam lameseinu. So garnish it done. You have to look at it. Now the Gemara also says that a person that looks at it has to make a bracha. Now seventzach. This is what the Smag is saying. The Gemara said when you look at it, you have to make a bracha. It's talking because you're in a Goyish city and there was no one there to light it. So in order for you to look at it, you needed to light it. So now that you lit it,
You see it.
so you see it, and now you have to make a bracha, but the bracha that you're making is not lahadlik because your wife already lit the house. And it's only Shasan Isam Shachiyonam. So I don't think that this teretz the Mayamorcha is a doichik. I think that the Beis Yosef gehalten that the reason for looking at Ner Chanukah is not in order to make the bracha Shas Nisam Laviseinu. The reason the Chachamim said to look at a Ner Chanukah is because it's a mitzvah lafarsam anes to go look.
It's not a mitzvah lahadlik.
There's a mitzvah lahadlik, and if a person has his wife in his house and he's ala derech, you don't have to be madlik.
Then he has a mitzvah only liras.
Only leaders. And that bracha leaders is not shaykh to make a bracha. Elamai, if he's bein agoyim and he lights a candle kedei leaders, then he has to make a bracha, and he doesn't have to make a bracha lahadlik nechana because his wife already did the etzema mitzvah. He only makes the bracha shas nisa. So therefore, the teretz that the Maimon Mordechai give is not a bad teretz. I think it's a gewaltige teretz. It's a very good teretz, the teretz in the Maimon Mordechai. And like I said, the B'chsum Sofer, we said the Rav Durchken Emes. You have a Shulchan Aruch, one simon after the next, and it's a stira. What are you going to do? You can say, oh, he's a stira, and therefore Safek Brachas. But obviously, Beis Yosef, if he didn't fall asleep between the first simon and the next simon, and he decided to be Soiser himself, obviously in his mind he had a pshat. The Maimon Mordechai thing has a very good pshat, and I think really that you could say that most of the Rishonim hold that way. That the Roya Ner Chanukah is not you going to Roya Ner Chanukah in order to make the bracha Shas Nisim. Forget it. You're Roya Ner Chanukah in order to see the Ner Chanukah. Elamai, if you're going to see a Ner Chanukah and no one's there to light it, you have to light it yourself. That's Meshemach in the bracha Shas Nisim. Otherwise, you don't have to make the bracha Shas Nisim, but you have to be Roya. You have to be Roya. So different. Simatov Reish Ayin Vav. I was talking about he's in a Yiddish city. So he's in the Yiddish city. So if Madlikin will be going base, so Taki has to be Roya Hanedis. Has to be Roya Hanedis. This doesn't make any brach in it. Over here, he's talking about Imabakim She'ebo Yisrael. Oh, Yemot Madlik Bebrachis. I don't think it's such a bad text.
There is no lotion. Sheklishonu liras me'or.
Right. Right.
It's not the word liras.
No, that's why you don't make that bracha. You just make the bracha Shas Nisim. No, Shas Nisim and Shechionu.
Wow, but you don't use the word liras.
No, you don't make. Okay. But anyway, I think this teretz from the upshot is that this taka mitzvah lidus neiris Chanukah. It's not like why did the Mishnah Berurah have a hard time chapping such a teretz? Because if you read earlier, he says that the inyan of Re'iyah is Kidei Lahoidus Alanes. So if the whole thing of Re'iyah is Kidei Lahoidus Alanes, it's a hechetimtza to make the Baruch Shas Nisim. What's the difference in a place with Yid and not Yid? So Mishnah Berurah couldn't get his head around the status. He thought it was a toich. But it's not true. Those that hold, there's plenty that hold that the reason to see is Pasha. But Pirsum Nisa, Taka, my wife is at home, and she did the whole job, and she made the three brachas. But I want that I should, the first night, go and look at a candle. Elamai, from a Goyish city, what am I going to do? There's nothing to see. So I have to light it. I have to light it already, so I'm going to make a bracha. So I don't think it's a bad teretz.
This is often in my remark.
This is all the Maimon. Yeah. Bottom line is, I think the Maimon Mordechai gave a good teretz.
My Mordechai was written by the Mordechai. Do we know?
No. I don't know. That's
Undo the
Mordechai Banet. I don't know.
Was it not
Is the Mordechai from the Gemara?
No. He's a Poisek that lived maybe 250 years ago. Maybe less. I think it's maybe the Mordechai Banet. There's a guy that comes here. He sits sometimes right over here. Shimi Benedict. So there, he told me he's a descendant from the Mordechai Banet. Yeah. His name is Benedict.
Friend from Italy, Switzerland.
Yeah. Mordechai Banet was a Rav in Germany. Wow. I think he's the man Mordechai. Okay.
And by the way, I've seen it was written by the
Mishnah Berurah. Yeah. The Mishnah Berurah, the extra tziyuna. Yeah.
Yeah, Berurah was also written.
The Berurah was also. Yeah. The today was very in style to write Svarim in the style of the Mishnah Berurah. That was his there's no more copies of the but this was his cap to like this idea of writing a digest of the poskim, and then Albir Aloch is a little bit more iyun, and Sharatzion is the Mara Mekoimis with also a little bit iyunim in the Mara Mekoimis. Okay. Yeah. Let's go back in the Mishnah Berurah. Let's go back in the Sif. Then he continues. Chayv lidus anedus v'chenoigim. Afilu meitzel Yehudim v'rei anedus. The Ramah says even if he's among Yidden and he wants to see the light, im roitzel ha'achmar la'atzmoi lahadlik b'fnei atzmoi madlik u'mevarech aleim. Madlik u'mevarech aleim.
Which one is the Levatola? Him or his wife?
Yeah, atazay. Im roitzel ha'achmar la'atzmoi lahadlik b'fnei atzmoi if he wants. Even though he already saw candles. Im roitzel ha'achmar la'atzmoi madlik u'mevarech aleim v'chenoigim. And there's a cloud, by the way. The Tzitzer Tumas Sedesh Maril, the Chuvas Maril, some Kufamei. The Ramah is not the one that wrote this. This is whatever the printer printed the Shulchan Aruch.
Later on, it went back and.
But if you look, the Mishnah Berurah says, go back to the last line of Mishnah Berurah over there in Sifkot Yudalit. It says, "L'chein l'din ein l'nei kein l'agim brach elam kein sheyoymer she'ein roitz lotzes v'adlokas ishtei." Unless a man says, "I don't want to be yoytzel with my wife," as the Ramah wrote later, and look later.
Oh, so in other words, he has a way to go out of it.
Yeah, let's look in the next. Turn the page.
He's arguing with Ramah.
No, he said he Teitstein the Ramah. He Teitstein the Ramah. The Ramah said the not so madlik. He meant he had kavana focus. He had kavana not to be yotze with his wife. That's not what the Ramah says. Lani is daiti. The Ramah doesn't hold of that. And Sami is a pella that the Mishnah Berurah learned this way in the Ramah. But I'll explain in a minute why he thought this way in the Ramah.
Like when people make a pull in the shoes.
Right. Have kavana.
I'm
not yotze. Exactly. Punkt azay. Roitzel am avdem in the patal hadl to maduk le beis. Machom kemeritzel hachmar lat lahad baatz mayasher vat shacham machshavtoy. Kedim shasad lok shein roitzel lotzes v'shalishtem. Mele leits kamish brachel vatol. Kimish shein roitzel lotzes badl kasa. Chol chiu vadlok love. And then he says, "Okay, no, you must have a chronim. Vesh my place, Mishnah Seven. Achim chazal patru. Then look, tishte. Lav kol kamina loy me any rotzei. Lots is b'shalishte. V'yadlik b'lobrach. Now the vade ein limchts v'en neugel levarach achri. The harba chronim miskin levarach. B'chomakim. Tov yosel lahad l'shmoya abrach l'pi achri v'yan omi. V'yakavan lots is ben v'yadlik neiroisel. V'yira l'shar l'hadlik neiroisel. Levarach lim zman ma. Koydem shemad lekes ishte bebeis. The eine shemad lekes achamayid. If kamina goylam v'yadlik koydem mayid. Because the Mishnah Berurah was thinking that the reason of the Ramah is because of Kavana Fochis, so it's like it's a little bit of funny.
So then his wife should not like. She's
It's
yet
like
away him.
It's like a whole kinta because he's going shitasa.
Kimtav is going l'shitase. I want to chisel away at the Mishnah Berurah. There should be come out nothing left for the Mishnah Berurah. So here's the thing. First, I'll start with the fact that you can't dispute. The Magen Avraham says in the previous simon, the first Magen Avraham, the Magen Avraham says that if a person lit the menorah, 8 candles, and then says, there's only 7 candles. Yankala, do any more candles? No more candles. Okay, they sing more surah and salolu. 15 minutes later, Yankala finds another candle. It doesn't make a bracha because he already had in mind for all 8 candles. But says the Mishnah, says the Prima God, the Matzah Shekel, mashma, that if the Fedish in the beginning he thought he only has 7 candles, and he had the bracha al das, he only has 7 candles, and then someone brought him an 8th candle, he has to make another bracha. And Prima Godim and the Matzah Shekel both say it's a kapella. It's a kapella. Why? The reason you're lighting an extra candle is for Mahadrin, Mina Mahadrin, who says that the Mahadrin is a bracha. But the Magen Avraham holds that way. The Mitzayin, the Magen Avraham says this way, Beferish and Hilchas Sukkah, is Simon Tov Reish Nun Aleph, and he says it in the name of David Avudraham, who says it in the name of the Chuvas Harambam and Pe'er Adoir. There's 2 Gersos in that Chuvah, but it's negated only the Nusach that Avudraham accepts, which is the Rambam said Beferish, like this, that if he's lighting extra for Hiddur Mitzvah, he makes another bracha. Last year we did a tshuva Rebbe Akiva Eiger about this. Rebbe Akiva Eiger for some reason went over him. He didn't see nicht the Magen Avraham and nicht the Tshuvas Rambam and but it's very heavy. When you have a Tshuvas Rambam was a Beferish Rishon and a Budraham and a Magen Avraham, very, very heavy. They say that for Mahadrin you could make a bracha. You could make a bracha for Mahadrin. You could make a bracha. Now, here you have when a person's in the kretschma. So the question was asked if he should make a bracha for lighting a candle. So Trumas Hadeshim said yes. Trumas Hadeshim says what? The Gemara says if a man and a wife are in their house, so they both, if they want, they can buy 2 menorahs. They both make a bracha. So if they're in one house, it's the mazogin, they can light 2 menorahs and make 2 brachas. Now that they're in 2 houses, what's the difference? What's the difference? The Gemara said that a gilus is a man and wife spending Chanukah together. So if they want, they can light 1 menorah. If they want, 2 menorahs. If there's 10 kids in the family, they want to be 1 menorah or 12 menorahs. But hein emes, if he's on the road to the Zabazach, and the Hadrim and Mahadr will light multiple menorahs and make multiple brachas. Very good. Now that I know this tshuva of the Rambam and the Abu Darham and the Magen Avraham, so Achdafnish came short in the Trumas Hadeshin. He said what he meant, and he meant what he said. That just like if a person himself, if he lit second night of Chanukah 1 candle, and then his neighbor brought him another candle, he can make 2 brachas. And just like a man and his wife have a choice to light 1 menorah or 2 menorahs, so he's on the road, he could also decide to light 2 menorahs. He doesn't have to have any kavanah focus. There's not negaya. With the maril, they have a kavanah not to be yotze for my wife, not leipa. But the maril brings in his truvas that if you're in the kerechma, you should light. It's kedai you should light. But Frab is manazeh that everyone lights, and if you're not going to light, they're not going to know you have a wife in your house. It'll be choshid, and you should make a bracha. Your wife is lighting in your house, but you're having the fetish in mind. You're not yotze from his wife. Okay, Maril is entitled to his own opinion, but don't tell me that that's what the Trumas Hadeshin meant. Now, the Ramah and the Shulchan Aruch and the Akamosh only quotes the Trumas Hadeshin. He doesn't quote the Maril. Here he doesn't say the reason of the Maril. He says it's mashma, has nothing to do because having kavon against. It's mashma because he holds like the Trumas Hadeshin that just like him and his wife from the same house, they can light 2 menorahs. So Lom and Negorev, they're now in 2 houses that they can't light 2 menorahs. It's like a wacko thing. I understand there are shittas that hold not that way. Let's try to chisel away at the shittas that hold not that way. Who holds not that way? Number 1, Beis Yosef. Beis Yosef holds when you're in the house with your wife, you cannot light 2 menorahs. The Beis Yosef holds there's only 1 person in the house lights the menorah. He's not a party for our discussion. Don't quote me, Beis Yosef. Okay, next, Marshal. Marshal is a very, very interesting shit over here. Marshal says, Marshal Take doesn't hold this way. Marshal says that if the bocher was in his house with his father, he can light a menorah and his father lights a menorah. If he's away from the house, he has a chiyuv l'shtat b'prita. Don't be an oy b'chochem. Don't be a oy b'chochem now. Mishtat b'prita. Don't light your own menorah. So chudish de keshita. It's like a very funny. Huh? Where he's staying? Yeah. These are the words of the.
Why is he worse at home?
Why? Because I think it's a very schwer to understand the shita. I think because he holds like this. When he's at home, there's a chiyuv. You could do the chiyuv. You could split it to what either the father does it for the whole family or everyone does their own menorah. But there's a chiyuv. You're on the road. You're in someone else's house. You don't have a chiyuv b'chlal. You don't have a chiyuv l'shtat b'prita. It's funny shit, but Lapol, that's what the Mashal holds. Read it inside. He says, Masha idna b'churim machmirim alatzim shaloi l'shtat b'prita madifim l'daite mirab zayda, they're bigger chachamim than Zayda. He says, Zeh minig Ashkenaz, shemagbiyim atofel u'manichem ha'ikir, u'levai shelo yakilu b'mitzvah sachamuris. If you're Ashkenaz posik, you're allowed to say it. You know, like the Schwarz is allowed to make fun of the Schwarz. Alhamdulillah, l'fal fe'avlo from Abdullah. If you're an Ashkenaz posik, you're allowed to say that. So he says that's the problem with the Ashkenazim. They always
said the
Ashkenaz. So he's allowed to make fun of.
Said the Ashkenazi.
I didn't spice up his words.
Says the
minik Ashkenaz. Shemagbiyim atoflo manichem ikir. Halavai shelo yakilu b'mitzvahs Achamuris. So he says that's the problem with Ashkenazim. You're on the road, you have only a mitzvah to be mishtat of a priti. What are you lighting your own menorah? Listen, the mashal, he holds a bracha latol. So the Maril, in principle, was thinking that the mashal is right. So he wanted to be mischakim, and he said, if you have kavon afochis, then it's not a problem. So, but the mashal might not be so thrilled with that teretz. Now, you could a little kvetch it into mashal if you want. I could squeeze it and say, he didn't say that it's a bracha levatol. He just said Ashkenazim are oibachacham. You had a trick, you had kavon afochis. Lav davke, he meant that it's be'emes a bracha levatol. I'm chipping away. So bazoi, maybe the mashal also helped. This mashal had a svara that you only have a chilul with the shtat of a priti. But if you want to be an oibachachim, I have a kavona afochis not to be yotza with your wife. It would work, but you're Ashkenazi oibachachim. Okay. So we're left with just the Pri Chodesh. And kegen them, I have now a Rambam and Peirador and Abu Raham and the Mogen Avram. And I don't see that the Pri Chodesh should be able to stand up against them. So therefore, the Pri Chodesh tak is maskim that by the way, Pri Chodesh is Sfardi, so it could be also same with the Beis Yosef. I have to look. I didn't look in the Pri Chodesh. I have to look. I looked in the Beis Yosef. I looked in the Marshal. Could be the Pri Chodesh is not a party to this whole discussion. If he holds like the Beis Yosef, who's a Sfardi, he's not a party to the discussion. He holds that you only light one menorah. In my house, I only light one menorah. So if I'm traveling away from my house, I also light only one menorah, me and my wife. Don't tell me that that's the other poiskin.
One minute, say the Pri wouldn't say that he could light his own menorah
in his own house. Him and his wife can't split.
But he was on the road, he can't.
So if in his own house he can't split, in the road he also can't split. So I verstehe. But if you hold that in the house you could split, you could do one, or you could split.
Yeah.
You have 1 menorah or 12 menorahs, 1 menorah or 2 menorahs. So why can't you split on the road? And say it's mahadrin. So taka, there is this word from the Marshal, which is like a funny word, but you could say even the Marshal, he was only a little critical of the Ashkenazim that they're oibachacham, they have a kamana focus and this. But why should you say against? There's a Rambam and Peirador, there's a Tshuva from Rambam who's a Beferish Arishin, Abu Raham who's a Arishin, and the Mogen Avram is a very strong posek by us, and they all hold that for Hider Mitzvah macht man abroch. Look. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. So the Maril probably learned the Gemara when the Mahadra, Mina Mahadra meant Azoi, that because they all decided to be Mahadra, it's as if they have a Ferish HaKavona not to be Yosef one from each other. It's as if they had the Ferish HaKavona. But it's a landless of Pshat in the Gemara. I would like to learn the Gemara the way that Rambam learns it, and the way that Abu Raham learns it, and the Mogen Avram learns it. That Mahadim and Mahadim have the end, the Trumas Adeshim, Pashtus, without Einland and the Maril and the Trumas Adeshim. Trumas Adeshim says, in your house, you can light 1 menorah, 2 menorahs. It's on the road, you can have 1 menorah, 2 menorahs. Mahadim, you can make a bracha, Neidu. So therefore, what's my whole pilpul negay? It was negay to what I was saying Sunday. If you ask the Mishnah Berurah, yes, today the minig is that girls don't light the menorah. What happens? I lit the menorah, my daughter came home afterwards. So now there is according no, then she can light her menorah there.
It's not the minute, it's just
It's just as though it's some services, but that's it's not. It's kein große Sache. So we can't. No, but I'm saying in the Hamish families, the girls don't light. So there wasn't a kavana fochis. The father had in mind that he's going to be Yotz's daughter. So
and the wife also.
but Stam, he had them in mind. So now, if she came home later, there's a Roya Ner Chanukah, and maybe there should even be a bracha for a Roya Ner Chanukah. If you hold in the Mordechai Guf, if you hold like the shit from the Rebbe Yeruchah, that a Roya Ner Chanukah, if they lit for you, is very good. But later, when you see, you have to make the bracha. Shas and Isam Lavzain, you have to look and make a bracha. But that's it's a machloikis. It's a brachas. So what should you do now? So as I said Sunday, I said like this. My daughter asked me once the shayla. I want to go mitzvah. I said I have a kavanah that I'm not being moitzi you with the menorah. So you're not yotze with my menorah. You come home, you can make a bracha. What's the difference? You and a boy would have been the same thing. What happens if a person didn't make this tonight? He didn't make this tonight. He didn't think anything. He lit the menorah, his daughter wasn't there. An hour later, she shows up. What should she do? What should she do? I mean, it's nicht the extra Sache in the Welt. She can go to sleep, get supper, and go to sleep. It's not. Oh, I would say she should light the menorah if she wants. What's the problem? What's the problem? Because the Mishnah Berurah got bent out of shape. That he says that the Ramah who said you could light if you want separately, it's because you have kavanah fochis, and not everyone agrees with kavanah fochis. The only one that held the kavanah fochis is the Mariel, and there's a lot many, and it could be he meant it for argument's sake, and the Mashal, and the Mashal also didn't have such a problem with it. He just said that you're being oibachoch. And therefore, I don't see it to be such a. So just like if a person himself lit one candle the second night of Chanukah, and then someone brought him another candle, he can make a bracha because it's the mahadrin. So if his daughter wants to be mena mahadrin and light her own menorah, she can light her own menorah. Either if she doesn't want to, the father, she's singing their Chanukah, she's singing it to make a bracha. Many persons say you don't have to make a bracha. Like if you take them answer the Maimon Mordechai. It's so everything is good. Whatever she wants, whatever makes her happy. If she wants to light a menorah, she can light with a bracha. If she doesn't want to light, she can go to sleep. She can see the menorah is echt good. Okay.
So what are the Ashkenazim maybe home?
Huh?
What are the Ashkenazim maybe bring to him at Ashkenazim?
No, the Ashkenazim, what he said was that when they were traveling in yeshiva to learn, and they were staying in the Kretschma, instead of being mishtate bepriti, they were lighting the own menorah, which l'chayr is fine. That's what the Ramah says they could do. But the Mashal says you're no b'chocha. The Gemara said you should be mishtate bepriti, so be mishtate bepriti.
You can't make a yarn.
You can't make your own. So the Mariel is answering, you cannot make your own. The Mariel is answering, well, because they could make their own because they're thinking the befedish kavana fochis, they're not being yoitza from their wife. So
But he's talking about a bracha.
Bacha in the man, it makes no difference.
The same,
It's the same thing. If they're modeled from in his house,
Okay. His father's
so
lighting having
or his wife is lighting for him in the house.
He's married. Yeah.
He's married. His wife is lighting for him in the wife.
Covering him up.
Yeah, covering them up.
Yeah.
And he went to Liozna to learn by the Alter Rebbe. So, so the Mashal is saying he's being an Obechoch, lighting up another. Should just be Mishtata Bepriti. The Mariel is answering. He's having the Fedish in mind. He's not being Yoitz.
What happened?
Right. He's having Kavana Fochs. But
So the Ashkenazim held that he should light. He should have in mind.
he should have in mind. The Mariel says he can have in mind. He's not being Yoitz by his wife.
No, but the Ashkenazim don't.
I don't know those. No, I think the Minhag Ashkenaz could have been because they really held like the Termas Hadeshen, like the Rambam, like the Avudraham, like the Mogan Avrom, that there is a bracha on Hidu. When the Gemara said Mahadrim and a Mahadrim, that they all light and they make a bracha, and that's what the Gemara is saying, that you don't have to have kavanah fochis. That
There is a mitzvah for them to light on their
it's a
own,
mitzvah to them to light.
even
Right.
if somebody's lighting at home.
Right.
Either their
Right.
father or
Right.
wife, whatever.
Right, because you could make a bracha. I think it comes back to a simple question: could you make a bracha on a hidu?
Yeah.
When the Gemara says mahadrim and ahadrim, I would say the simple pshat in the Gemara is saying that you could make a bracha on the hidu. Hidur mitzvah.
Hidu mitzvah, like Rebbe, the example he gave was if they came up with another.
So one of the two, either is because it's the second night,
second night,
and he lit one candle, then he brought him another candle.
That's it.
Another way of hidur is that the family could use one menorah and they decided to split. Either way,
and he's using it. He wants to use his own menorah.
yeah. So either way, that's mahadrin, and you make a bracha. Mahadrin,
Okay.
you make a
By the way, the
bracha.
Magen Avraham was in Akron, right?
Yeah, but the Magen Avraham,
He was more recent.
that's true.
Right.
The Magen Avraham is for some reason, even though the Poel, he only lived about 300 years ago, and he's, yeah, it's hacking. The thing is that he was considered a very heavy person.
He was an
For the
Ashkenaz.
Sephardi or for the Ashkenazi?
Ashkenazim.
He was an Ashkenaz.
Because he was a Oni ve'Evian, and he didn't even have a lot of svarim. But Lepoil, you see that the Alter Rebbe and many other poskim accepted the Magen Avram as Kodesh Kadosh. It's very hard to chapis on Magen Avram. So it's Lepoil. The Alter Rebbe Paskins very strong.
What would be if you light the menorah and after 5 minutes you shut off and you're going to relight now there? You should make a more.
No, Kaf saying Zakakwa. The Shaila is something else. Should we finish the simon?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Anoisa be mashmini, min hashemen, hatzorech l'shir adloka. Oisla medura v'seif b'fnei atzmai. On the 8th day, whatever's left, from the shem and the psilis, you have to make a medura and burn it. Sharei huk tzil mitzvase, vim nesara b'shem and acha, v'ein shishim lavatli, yesh mishem, v'shein lahoisev alav k'dei lavatli. You shouldn't be mevatel the shemen. You should burn that and the other shemen and the other weeks in Gendik.
Don't we do it in Pesach? In Pesach when it burns the chametz?
No. They said that you should burn it wider. You shouldn't leave it even for Pesach.
Rough Hashem and Apsil, not the oil that's in the bottom.
No, not in the Mishnah Berurah says beferish. Look in the no. Let's read the Mishnah Berurah. I know some Mishmir the Balal Sakoid Mim Noisa Yochel Shtam Shemon Mitzvah Loka Balal Shacharim. Mim Nasara B'Shem Achad the Mektel Kamei. Min Hashem and Atzorech Hain Shaloi Nos and Tchil Rak Shir Ad Loka V'Nitva B'Emtza V'Noisa V'Tfein Also Kol Mitzvah V'Asalamas V'Mena. Havlim Nos Ahar Ben V'Noisa Mutal Shtamish V'Lachatchila. The whole thing that it's also l'shtamish loyde is he put in oil and after 15 minutes it blew out and the kaf saying zakik club. But the problem is it's still all mitzvah. But if you put a lot of oil and there's left, what l'shtamish b'lachatchila k'meshkos bil b'simet avre shayim beit siv beit v'dad yish b'is k'meshusay v'im noshim shema b'stam uksakol Hashem loyde hisna l'chatchila shelo yaser ela kishir v'ayil b'simet avre shayim beit Mishnah Berurah siv cotton zayin the Bach holds that the Maria Buov says this. The Maria Buov says that if you put a lot of Shem, you put 12 hours of Shem, it's also to blow it out. It's also listapik be'oir.
You could go for another 3 days.
Yeah, why? Because he holds as a cheshbon. The Gemara says that what's the mishtashak l'chama shetik chol regel mashuk, which is about a half hour. The Gemara says l'may naf kamina di lo adlik inam l'shiur. Two tirutzim. The Rambam holds that both tirutzim al halacha. You have to put oil for a half hour, and you must light in this half hour, otherwise you lost the mitzvah. Most of the Rishonim hold that it's a suffix between the two tirutzim. So we're going to be l'chatchila try to be macham both. Put oil for a half hour, but if you didn't light in the first half hour, you can light all night. Anyway, bisman hazeh we matik b'fnim. So anyway we make that's another chesh. But the back. Wait a minute. According to the first head, if you don't know what the teretz is, the first teretz never said that there's a sheet of a half hour. Whatever you put in, if you put in 12 hours of oil, unless you made a tanaya, the fadish that only for a half hour, less than a half you can because your chosh maybe the second teretz is gonna. But you have to make a tanai that for a half hour. But otherwise, 12 hours. The light has a din of a light of a menorah. So I always had a problem. I put enough oil, these drabungus cups, and I have 4 hours. More than 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, usually in the morning when I get up, the light, the menorah is still burning. Yeah, people always love it. Oh, Tati's a mess. The problem is that if you're not being mechavan, if you want it feels good to say that it's still also to burn out, and it's a huktzal mitzvah. So you have to have a shamash. It should be a hekir.
Wow.
Also, the shamas have to be bigger. And
Yeah. I always had a problem with that. Help the Eibish to someone.
Went out after like 2 hours.
Or the long one.
Oh
Wow.
Is that for every night?
Extra long. Yeah, I bought 8. I did last year already. This product was out already last year. Rebbe Sheshamoshim. You can get it in bingos. I think it's $3.50 a piece.
Wow.
Been probably
12 hours. Taka 12 hours. Taka 12 hours. Rebbe Sheshamoshim.
Speaking about that,
8 nights?
Yeah,
Right.
no. I bought 8. One per
Looks
year.
like
Yeah, it smells delicious.
That's the Chabad
It's really
cookie.
good. Yeah,
Wow.
it's good.
Very nice.
Rabbi, I remember you taught us last year and the year before
Yes.
that at the time of the Bet HaMikdash, there was somebody who scientifically figured out how
The
much oil,
sizes. Yeah, the
oil
wicks,
to
the
put
wicks.
in the menorah. So
And how big that is.
it could burn until the morning.
Right, the
Wow.
wicks, the thickness,
Okay,
the manipulated, the
got it,
thickness of the
got
wicks
it.
been based on how.
Yeah,
The oil was always the same,
all the same.
but the
Okay.
hours of the night were different.
Wick.
So how thick the wick is, they had a box to manipulate that.
Yeah.
How thick it should
Yeah,
be
yeah.
based on what time of the year, I guess.
Right.
So the reason why I bring that up is because it reminded me of the length of time that it burned in the Bet HaMikdash.
Exactly.
I mean,
All right.
I wasn't there to witness.
Not yet.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
God
Yeah.
willing.
And look at Mendoza, it should burn all night.
Yeah.
So a night, our pidin is 12 hours.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can buy for yourself. You know,
Wow.
you can buy it
Right.
just
It's
for a couple of
nice
dollars. You
oil.
can get yourself an
That's
Ebeshet.
would've been
Wow.
creepy.
It's Mikal Yisrael. It's
Yeah.
like, it's great.
It could be.
By the way, does it come out that what do you call it? Does it come out that like what happens like Rebbe's like it's saying here the last night that you have left over.
So he says you must burn. The reason why you must burn it right. You shouldn't leave it for next year. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're scared you're going to end up using that oil. That's not a dimmer foolish
You
b'shas.
might use
Oh,
it during the
you-
evening.
Yeah,
You want to use good oil, not
yeah.
bad oil.
No. Those days
I
they
mean,
didn't care good or bad
It
oil.
was
Huh?
Why is it bad oil?
Because it's
Because
used.
if you have a little extra oil and you leave it, because Amazon you want to burn it with your chametz, you want to leave it for next
Right.
year. It's not going to be alpitos. You're going to use the oil because we don't use olive oil that much. First of all, the lamps is electricity. And cooking oil we usually use not olive oil because we use usually different oil. It's
Vegetable oil.
considered today that olive oil is not so good for cooking. It's only
Right.
good for using in cold. And people, it's not good to fry with olive oil. And,
only
and-
for
My wife
heat.
uses it for near shops.
so for you, Taka, so that's why he says that you should certify that right away you should be certified. Let's see, you test. Next one you test.
Right.
That he's going to use it. That accidentally he's going to use it.
Use it when during the year. You mean?
Yeah, for Shabbos candle. It's true. What you're saying. If you use it for Shabbos candle, then Taka even Bisman Hazeh.
Then it would be okay.
No, it would be
No.
bad. I feel like the Vadal Yabalach will gam kenos chenu shemayavi. Lidlik will honest menu.
That's why I do I have to Chanukah bull in it.
Burn it right away. Burn it right away.
So burning meaning like make a
Make a fire
fire.
Don't
Yeah.
start.
After Hanukkah.
after Hanukkah. Yeah.
What is somebody supposed to do? Like sometimes you have oil left over.
With the wicks and the oil,
With
you
the
take.
wick, no, I'm saying each night you might have
No.
oil left over.
That doesn't matter. That you use it
So-
again and again.
Or you could use it.
Yeah, that he said before. Use it again and again. But the eighth day, whatever is left from the oil, not in the jug.
Yeah.
Berurah says whatever is left in the jug, mach nishtois.
Whatever's left in each individual candle.
Yes.
That's
Looking
what
at Tzorich. I'm Mishnah Berurah Mach Ketav Dish Pais Kosem.
Which one is it?
Here, one before the last one. You see right over here,
Okay.
Mishnah Berurah?
You test.
Here, Tzorich.
In
Yeah.
Mishnah Berurah.
Yeah, I'm Mishnah Berurah Mach Kesavnu.
Oh,
The
it's
Biur
right.
Halachos. The Yesh Pais Kosem Avlim Loch Tzluchis Shel Shem L'Nei Chanukah. Mishnah Shemach Tzorich. Fulalma Eina Noisa B'Chol Moisa Hashem Shebnei Chanukah. And if you bought a jug of oil,
Yeah, left over in that jug.
that's not a problem.
No, that,
Right, you
that-
buy a big fat
yeah,
big
that-
fat
that
jug
you
of
use
oil.
for next year.
that you can keep for next year. You can use your
Or
wife.
you do Shabbos.
Yeah, you can use it for the salads for Shabbos.
So,
But whatever is sitting in the cups,
yeah, in the cups.
that plus the wicks, you have to burn right away. That it shouldn't be a takola.
By the way, what if let's say in each one night, let's say tonight or tomorrow, whatever, you have leftover oil, but it might not be enough for a half hour even. You know what I'm saying?
So whatever is left over,
So what
you
do
can
you
always
do?
recycle.
Recycle.
The last day,
So what I mean, during the week, each individual night, you could recycle. I mean, you could
next
But-
night.
Moisty for it.
be nice.
You might as well.
You put together two
Yeah.
cups.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
might not have enough for
Yeah.
a half hour, you okay.
But the last day, you have to burn it.
You have to burn it.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Shikoyach for everyone for joining us, even though it's a Hanukkah.
Yeah.
No better way to spend Hanukkah than learning mitzvah.
Chanukah, go to Chanukah.
Like,
I think we should continue all the shiurim every single night. Yeah.
No,
Hanukkah.
I don't see any.
Blineder will make sure to have donuts. It should be boy from Moiser Va'oileh.
oh, man.
Donuts.
We'll have.
You know,
No, we get better donuts.
they make donuts at my father's place.
Yeah?
Latkes too,
Oh,
latkes.
okay, very good. I'll ask you.
And latkes.
Oh yeah. No. These are not this I bought on the cheap. I heard of 770. They have like 2 pallets.
Wow.
And Bochum are coming like a hot potato. Bochum I buy they go on the soil. Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Excess oil?
No. Unless you made a Tanai B'chatchila, and if it burns more than half an hour, it's not hooked till the mitzvah. So then you can throw it out in the garbage.
Let's say I want to fall asleep with it burning, and I have it tonight whenever I
Blow
want
it
to
up.
sleep.
Blow it up. You have to make a Tanai. And
Can I fill that out? Can I, when you have disposable cups?
So you just have to have in mind that after it burnt for a half hour, you're throwing it in the garbage. And then you're allowed to do that.
Thereafter.
Yeah, it could be a half hour, 40 minutes,
So
but
then you don't
you blow it
do
out.
for the following night, like Richard said before.
If he made it befedish tonight
Like before you lit,
before you lit,
Yeah,
then he can throw it in the garbage.
but you have to make that tonight.
You have to make that tonight.
every night, I guess.
If you have it in mind, the beginning of Hanukkah.
All the night.